Thank you very much for the introduction. So hello and good morning to everyone in the audience. I very much appreciate the invitation and can hopefully provide a good starting impulse to your conference. I will use the next 15 minutes to present to you the restoration of the Emscher River and its tributaries, and hope that our experience can be of help to you. So from the picture, you can already see that the Emscher Basin restoration is actually a transformation of a former mining landscape into a more sustainable and livable region. But first of all, I want to show you where the Emscher is located. The Emscher is a tributary to the River Rhine, located in the federal state of North Rhine-Westphalia. The Emscher catchment has a size of around 850 square kilometers and more than 2 million inhabitants. So it's a very dense metropolitan area and used to be a coal mining region, now is a very industrialized region. The Emscher Genossenschaft is a water board that is responsible for the water management within the Emscher Basin. And this water board or association was founded more than 100 years ago. It is working closely together with the Water Association of the River Lippe, the neighboring basin, and they share one joint organization. Emscher Genossenschaft has several tasks around the water cycle of the Emscher on catchment scale. So this consists of the river maintenance and restoration, of wastewater treatment and flood protection, but also of rainwater management, groundwater management, and polder management. And the focus on these tasks on catchment scale allows for an integrated water management, as all this water-based management is focused on by one central organization. And this organization, the Emscher Genossenschaft, which is a cooperative or association, is organized by bringing members together. These members are the municipalities within the region. These are 16 municipalities. The mining industry, which is one large mining company, and the largest commercial and industrial companies. The Emscher Genossenschaft is founded by law and is self-administered. It's part of the public service and therefore works for the welfare of the public, so it's non-profit. It has an association board, which is the steering group of the cooperative, and has representatives of all 3 members or associates. And the Emscher Genossenschaft is supervised by the Federal Ministry of Environment, which is also the Ministry of Agriculture, Consumer Behavior. The Emscher Genossenschaft's tasks are financed via its associates. So main part of the financiation comes from the region. This is actually 80%. And there's an additional funding, 20% is funded from the federal state and from national and European level. The Emscher restoration actually dates back to the early 19th century. So back then, the Emscher was a slow-flowing river, which was frequently flooding its floodplains. As you can see in the picture, this was actually not a problem, but became a problem once coal was found and coal mining started, and with it, industrialization and urbanization. This frequent flooding led to contamination and also was a source of diseases, because all the sewage that emerged from the mining, from the industry, and from the urban settlements went into the Emscher and its tributaries. So a sewage system had to be constructed, but back then it was not possible to construct the sewers underground due to the soil subsidence caused by underground mining. Therefore, an open sewage system was constructed. As you can see here, straightened and with concrete beds and with dikes left and right to prohibit further flooding. And this so-called technical Emscher system consisted for over a century until 1990, when the soil subsidence slowly came to an end and it was finally possible to construct an underground sewage system. And this sewage system on the regional scale was finally completed last year, by the end of last year. So it took more than 30 years and was the first step of the restoration, because only once the sewage from the rivers was discharged via the sewage system, the rivers and the tributaries of the Emscher can be revitalized. Here one example, so that near-natural systems can be developed. As I said, the sewers or the entire sewage system was just finalized. More than 430 kilometers of sewers had to be built to discharge all the sewage, which now is flowing to 4 large, very large wastewater treatment plants that are already in operation. And as the second step, the restoration of the streams, here we are about halfway. So around 150 kilometers of streams are already restored. The others will need to be restored within the next years. So far, this 30-year project costed more than 5 billion euros. Here I'm showing some impressions. So this is a small tributary of the Emscher, straightened and in concrete beds, which has been restored to a near-natural state. And also the Emscher main stem, as you can see here, has been restored in the upper section. And you see here that the shore and the vegetation has developed, and also the water quality improved substantially. One of the highlights of the Emscher restoration will be the new Emscher Delta. On the left side, you still see how the Emscher is meeting the River Rhine via a steep drop. So currently no fish or other aquatic species are able to migrate into the Emscher. And this will change with the opening of the new delta, which is expected to happen by the end of this year. Aquatic species will be able to enter the Emscher. The Emscher will have a large retention area, a large floodplain with diverse habitats. So biodiversity can recover here. And there's also a lot of recreational offers planned. So bike paths, environmental education, and excursions. Biodiversity has been observed to recover quite well in many of the already restored streams. We've seen a triplication of species. However, this takes time. So we have observed that usually it takes more than 10 years for diverse and specialized aquatic communities to develop. A part of the recovery of biodiversity, the revitalization of urban areas is a large benefit of the restoration. Here you see a famous example. This is in Dortmund, in the upper section of the Emscher catchment. Here used to be a steelworks plant, and the Emscher was flowing underneath this steelworks plant in a tunnel. around the year 2000, the plant was finally demounted, and following several feasibility studies and soil monitoring, it was realized that the area can potentially be developed into a lake. And this was done and finalized in 2010. And also the Emscher stream was opened. So the tunnel was removed and the Emscher has now a new bed next to the lakeside. The lake quality and also the water quality of the Emscher have developed very well. Also biodiversity has improved very much, and the lake is very popular for recreation and also for housing. And at the same time, it serves as a flood retention basin. It was in use last year in July during the strong rain events here in Germany. So this is a very good example of a multiple purpose nature-based solution. This is one project of many which are brought together in a master plan. This master plan was developed in around 2000 and serves as a very rough script for the Emscher restoration. More than 2,800 single projects on ecological restoration, but also on urban development are placed here in this regional-based master plan. So you can see that the restoration goes beyond ecological improvement and can also trigger regional change towards more sustainable management in the region. It brings a diversity of benefits and can therefore serve as an impulse to the region. Many of these benefits can be termed ecosystem services. So these are the ecological development, biodiversity, urban development, recreational potential, and also health. There's also an improvement in climate resilience due to these nature-based solutions. Environmental education is possible. And last but not least, it is an economic factor and serves to create jobs. So now I want to quickly summarize the main factors of successful restoration. So river and stream restoration bring multiple benefits, both to nature and to people in terms of ecosystem services, and can trigger a regional change. They can further provide resilience towards climate change, as this restoration and further nature-based solutions can enhance the resilience towards both drought and extreme precipitation, serving as a sponge landscape, sponge city. So such nature-based solutions can not only be implemented in the river and its direct surrounding, so in terms of near natural stream beds, floodplain reconnection, flood retention basins, recreation, but also in the further surroundings, so the landscape, the groundwater body, and the general rainwater management in the landscape. The organization in terms of water cooperative or association is very helpful as a good basis for governance, good governance, because it's a catchment scale organizational structure that brings together the main actors and is supervised by the Ministry of Environment. It also supports integrated river basin management as it is on catchment scale and has a long-term thinking and also long-term planning with tools like a master plan And then for implementation of these plans, clear division of tasks and responsibilities is necessary. Also, the participation of all relevant actors and transparency is important to enhance acceptance of the measures and of the costs related to restoration. And finally, monitoring and data-based planning can support restoration and helps to identify further optimization measures. With this, I want to thank you for your attention and for your interest. Feel free to contact me if you have questions or want to exchange experiences. And now I wish you a very exciting conference and good success with the restoration ahead. Thank you.